Greetings, gang. Okay, finally, we are to the point far enough through winter that we can, at least here where I am, start thinking about or even playing in the dirt a little bit, getting some of our seeds started. And today is when I'm going to start my pepper seeds. Okay, those of you who've been around long enough know the reason I do it. I get them started earlier. I get a bigger, stronger plant. So when I go transplant them, I've got a jump start on spring and I can get a little bit earlier harvest for my peppers. So some of you guys may know this. This will be old hat for people. Others that are new to gardening or just starting out, hey, welcome to the crowd. You're doing something to feed yourself and not paying the astronomical prices in the stores. So what I want to go through today is some of the tips I can give you on how to grow healthy seedlings. All right, this is like anything else. When you build a house, the most important part is the foundation. Can't build the rest of the house till you have the foundation. Got to get this part right. So let's start. Now, many of you may this be your first foray, or you've just gone out and bought your equipment or whatever it is, and you have your seed trays, okay? Nice and clean and brand new and everything. You'll notice I cut out a corner. I've mentioned this before. This makes it a lot easier to bottom water because I can just pour the water right into that space, okay? Just a trick I use. Makes life easier. I don't have to try to, lift these things up and do everything. But for those of us who've been doing this for a while, you can reuse these things, which is important if you buy good quality ones. Next year, you get this, my watering trough, if you will, or my seed tray. And if you can see, because they fit together like that, okay? But if you can see, they are dirty. Chances are you didn't wash them last year. Most of us don't. So they sat out in the garage, in the shed, wherever would be over the winter. The absolute very first thing you need to do is wash those out thoroughly, okay? Run them through the dishwasher if you want. That'll be great. That will sterilize them. If not, put a few drops of bleach in some soapy water and wash those out. The reason you want to do that part is because if there is any bacteria, any fungus, or whatever that is in there, the last thing you want to do is start your brand new seeds diseased. So, first thing I got to do is go wash out. All right, so once I've got them washed out, okay, you're going to get 99% of everything out of there. You're not going in with a toothbrush or anything like that, but you want to wash them out well. Make sure you rinse them out well. You don't want the bleach still in there. But the bleach is important because chances are you're not going to get into every little crack and crevice and all the little ridges that are on these, okay? But if you use the bleach, you will kill anything that is potentially in there. Rinse it out really good so you get all the bleach out. You don't want, obviously, bleach and plants don't get along. You're just going to kill your plants. So rinse it out really good. You've already killed everything. So now you have a good sterile tray to start with. So the next thing to do is to fill it with soil. And there's a trick to this. All right, so next step is playing the dirt. And I'm going to do this on the back patio. I'm not going to do it on the kitchen table because Mrs. P would kill me playing in the dirt on the kitchen table, at least for this part. And I can't do it in the garage on my workbench because that's covered right now with wood that we're putting up on the walls in there. So right now it's occupied. So I'm going to do it out here, which of course means it's 40 degrees outside. And I've got my homemade seed starting mix that's been sitting outside. And so guess what? It's 40 degrees. We'll get to that part in a second. So I've got here a half a tray, okay, and I do some in half and some in whole. That way I can keep track of how many plants I have for each one and not try to mix and match plants in one tray and screw something up. This way I keep myself a little better organized. So I want to fill my tray up, and I will show you this right quick. Okay. So let me tip this down so you can see what I'm doing here. Now, I pull it back so it's in screen. I want to push this down so I have a good soil block in here. I don't want to pack it or anything like that, but I want to have a good firm soil, all right? And if you're doing it right, you've probably got about 3/4 of the cell filled. Somewhere thereabouts, maybe 7/8, I don't know, somewhere thereabouts, but not full. And the reason we want to do this is you don't need to bother poking little holes and getting a pencil or anything like that to put your seeds in. If you know what you're planting in the soil, leave your depth correctly, and then once I drop my seeds just on top, then I want to go back and I'm going to put a light coat of seed starting mix right over the top. And guess what? They're ready to go. Okay, none of this little measuring crap. I know I need to put these seeds maybe 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch deep. That's what I left myself on the top. Drop the seed, put it over the top. I'm good to go. All right. So next thing, and this is important too, is I'm going to take these back in the house, and this is what I was talking about with temperature. I'm going to take the cells here and let them sit and get to room temperature. Why? Because like I said, my soil's been sitting outside in 40-degree temperature. The seeds have been sitting for 6 months, a year, couple of years at this point, in nice, warm, climate-controlled 68, 70-degree house. They're not used to the cold weather, okay? Some people may disagree with me in this, whatever it is. It's just how I was taught. It's always worked, okay? Let my soil get up to room temperature so the seeds aren't shocked when you put them into soil and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, it's frozen or whatever it would be. We're going to put those in, let the soil warm up, and then we'll put seeds in and we'll move on from there. So I'll see you in a couple hours. All right, so it's now about 2.5 hours later, and I've got my soil up to room temperature here, so we're good there. But again, I want you to remember this. I keep my house at 68, so it's about where I am. I'm probably in the mid-60s somewhere. I mean, I can tell the temperature, not sticking a thermometer in it or anything, but it allowed the soil to warm up. However, I'm planting peppers, and this is where things are important to know. Peppers germinate somewhere between 65 and 95 degrees. It's warm enough I can do it in my house, that's fine. The optimal temperature for peppers to germinate is about 85 degrees. I ain't heating my house to 85 degrees, all right? And it's certainly not 85 degrees outside. So we'll get to that shortly, but again, this is called knowing your plants. So what am I gonna plant today? I've got saved seeds, green peppers, California Wonder. I've got saved seeds, jalapenos, okay? I've got leftover from probably, I think it's just 1 year. Yeah, these are 2022 seeds, I believe. Yes. Okay, so these are leftover from last year. Banana peppers from the dollar store. Okay. And then I've got Marconi peppers, red Marconis that I got from Haas Tools. These are brand new, but I believe these are 2022 seeds again, too. Yeah, these are leftover from last year as well. So, real simple what I'm going to do, and which one do I want to start with here? We'll do my jalapenos. All right, I've got, I'll tip this down here, see if you guys can see it there. All right, so, not that I really have to show anybody this part, but it's part of a step I've got to go through, is I want to put 2 seeds, if I can get them in my hand, 2 seeds per cell. And of course, I dropped 3 in that one. All right, so put 1 there, and get 1 more in it, and then I'll drop 3 again. I'm doing good, okay. So I'm gonna put 2 seeds in all of these, go along, and I'll put that off to the side here. You don't need me to see me do all those trays. But Then I'm going to go and I'm just going to lightly cover them with some more soil. Done. Okay, real easy. Now, one of the big things that's key, and I'm going to tell everybody this, make sure you label your seedlings, because when they come up, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between jalapenos and green peppers and marconis and whatever the hell you're growing, okay? Use whatever you want, okay? If you want to go out and buy fancy markers, you can cut up a red Solo cup and use that. I like to use plastic silverware, dollar store stuff, cheap, okay? I can just write on there, jalapeno, okay? What I like about this as opposed to a Solo cup, it's firm, okay? It's not going to bend over or anything like that. Write on it with the Sharpie. I can stick it right in. It's long enough. I can see what I've got, okay? So I'm gonna plant all these seeds. I'm gonna cover them out. Then we're gonna go out to the garage and I'm going to show you that setup again. And that'll take me a few minutes. Okay, so now we are out in the garage and our little creative greenhouse here. So I'll show you what's going on with this part. Now we have brought them out and you can see the heater there, back there. They are on heat mats. The heat mats will get up to about 80, 85 degrees. I have the heater set at 70, so when everything's closed up, you can see Mrs. P in the back watering there. But so we will have all these on heat mats to keep the soil warm so that they can germinate. Want to keep the humidity domes on here so it stays moist. That'll be good. At this point in the germination part, the light doesn't mean anything. Okay, and I'll kind of give you the details on that. Once the seeds germinate, then I need to raise them up to the light so they're only a little bit below the light, you know, like an inch or so thereabouts. I also want to take them off the seed mats once they are off the heat mats once they have germinated. The only thing I need it for is the germination. So that is a simple way, or basically the correct way to, there's Mrs. P in the back. Wave and say hi, honey. But that is the correct way to germinate seeds. Now, I know a lot of you guys have asked this, so I figure I'll show you this here real quick. Our test from before. There, way in the back, is the lettuce. And here are the cabbage up in front. Obviously, I think I showed you guys once before that we had repotted these, but they are growing tremendously, look extremely healthy, and so all is good. But that is what we got going on for getting spring ready. Have a good one, y'all. Pinball out.